which were all aimed at a succession happening for the next generation of power. So we saw that Mr. Museven, who has been playing his cards a bit close to his chest, finally had to come out, and now we see exactly what he's planning. Now, the cabinet changes were significant in that they took away so many members from his son's PLU and somehow deployed them elsewhere in a way that is going to make PLU useless, and of course took the head and made him the Chief of Defense Forces. But that does not mean that the plan to make Muhoozi the next president has ended. Actually, it has just gone in higher gear. Because what happens is there was a disagreement with between the president and the people who were around his son mostly on how Muhoozi was going to be president. Now, the people who were around his son were convincing him that they can popularize him enough for him to win an election through universal adult suffrage, the way elections have been. But Museven has so many weaknesses, but being delusional is not one of them. So he knew that there is no way his son was going to win an election. But then he has a better way of he has in his mind a better way of making him president. So number one, he took the people who were main, the main protagonists of the PLU movement, Balam and who and the other lady, and made them ministers, so that he basically disbanded that. But then now he made the son, who was a presidential advisor for special operations, and was basically idle. He turned him into a CDF after giving the CDF a lot of power before that. So now, that means that Museven has attempted to insulate himself, to see that his son will be president in two different ways. Number one, if anything happens, for instance, if he dropped dead right now, the idea is the army takes over, and if the army takes over, the CDF is the de facto president. So his son becomes president. That is the first of his plans. The second one is if he doesn't drop dead and he continues up to 2026, we know that he doesn't intend for his son to go through the rigor of a general election, going asking for votes across the country. He prefers it to be done in a more closed atmosphere. And now that atmosphere is definitely going to involve one of two things. One, it is either going to be a parliamentary system. Parliamentary system is where people don't vote directly for a president. They vote for members of parliament in different parties, and the party which has the most number of members of parliament gets the president, but usually the prime minister. That is one way he would want to do it. The second way is if actually the president is elected in parliament. And those are the ways he has planned for it to happen. Now, if it is the first way, parliamentary way, it's a parliamentary system, then it means that if NRM has the most number of MPs, then whoever is the head of NRM is the de facto prime minister or president. So now it is easier for him to push the son through the NRM structures than it is to take him through, going across the country and trying to get votes from everybody. Now that brings one other aspect in play. Since everything is going to be done in parliament, that means the most important person in all this succession is the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among. That's why the president has been supporting her, telling her they are trying to spoil her name, homosexuals and what, traitors, and so on. You had the stuff you're saying in Bukedea over the weekend when he was launching her thing. So now he's basically supporting Anita Among because she's supposed to help in the transition through parliament. So now she's being handled with care until that moment comes and she goes through parliament, because they need her to do that. And that's why from now she can do no wrong. She can take all the money she wants and do whatever it is she wants. Nobody is going to touch her, because she's supposed to be influential in the next plan for the country. Now, having said that, now we know Museveni's plan. But we as a country have a plan of our own, in which we want this country to be taken back from his family, and we as Ugandans are equal stakeholders in the governance of this country. We want to rebuild our country away from Museven. And now, because we want that, and because we have been kind of struggling towards that right now, but now is the most important time, because now is the time of transition. The transition is going to happen one way or the other. So now is the time for all the forces of change to come together and stop hitting at each other, stop, tearing each other apart, and come together, because the other side seem to be sure about what they want, and now they have shown us what they want. Now we on this side have to come, and first of all, before even we decide who and when and what, first of all come together and decide what future we want for this country, and start preparing the population for a Uganda without Museveni or his son. And so that's what we are supposed to be doing right now. Unfortunately, that has not necessarily been the case, because there's been a lot of bickering, a lot of pulling of strings here and there, and that's very unfortunate as far as I'm concerned, because all of it fits perfectly into the plan of Museveni, when the forces of change seem to be at each other's throats. So now what I am doing right here is we are issuing a clarion call. Who has any iota of patriotism, and who sees Uganda not as the property of one family, the way that family sees it as, but who sees Uganda as a country that belongs to in excess of 40 million people, to come out from wherever it is they are and let us take control of this transition. We have a very, very good opportunity, an opportunity that we've never had before. Not once have we had this kind of opportunity. Now, because if you know, I'll tell you this: if you're somebody who knows sport like me, you know that if you're running a relay, the most vulnerable time is when you're exchanging batons. So even powerful teams with 4 good runners in the relay lose because they faltered in the exchange of batons. So now, regardless of how you think powerful you think they are, they in this period of exchanging batons, now batons, now is our best chance to actually pull off something and take Uganda back to be property of Ugandans, not of one family as they want it to be. And this is a very, very crucial time for us, for all of us. And I'm telling you that there are people even within the NRM who do not want that future for Uganda. Some of them have supported the old man, but many of them will not support the young man. And taking for granted that everybody who supported the old man will support the young man is a lie. So many of them are patriots. Patriots are even in NRM, and so many of them are going to come and join us, and we work together. Even if they want to come secretly, that is okay. We keep secrets. They can come, and we put our hands together and fight for the future of this country. So those who have been in forces of change for so long, those who have been even part of NRM, even those who have somehow had positions, as long as they see a future different from what Museven is plotting for this country, they are all welcome to come and join us, and all our hands are open to anybody. There is nobody who is excluded from this, because what is at stake is so important, and that is the future of this country. And now that's what we are calling upon everybody to do. And I do hope that so many of them, we put our differences aside. Natural differences, because we have them, we put them aside and come together for the purpose of this very, very important task that we have, for which so many Ugandans are trusting us. Thank you very much.